Close your eyes. Imagine waking up in a hospital room. You don't remember how you got here. Your head pounds, your vision blurs. A doctor stands over you, smiling, holding a syringe. "Just a vitamin shot," he says, "to help you feel better." You trust him. He's a doctor. Doctors help people, right? The needle goes in. Within minutes, reality dissolves. The walls breathe. Colors explode. Your mind fractures. You're terrified, screaming, begging for it to stop. The doctor takes notes, observes, records. This isn't medicine. This is an experiment. You're not a patient. You're a test subject. And the doctor doesn't work for a hospital. He works for the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, your own government. Welcome to MK Ultra, the most disturbing program in American history, where the CIA drugged, tortured, and experimented on thousands of Americans without their knowledge, without their consent, for 20 years. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is declassified fact. The documents exist. The victims testified. The government admitted it. This actually happened in America, to Americans, by Americans. This is that story. April 13th, 1953. Project MK Ultra begins. CIA Director Allen Dulles signs a memo. Project MK Ultra is born. The goal? Develop mind control techniques, break enemy agents, create perfect spies, win the Cold War. The methods? Anything necessary. Drugs, hypnosis, torture, sensory deprivation, anything that might control the human mind. The budget? Classified, but millions of dollars. Unlimited funding, no oversight, complete secrecy. The test subjects? Whoever they can get. Prisoners, mental patients, soldiers, college students, prostitutes' clients, random citizens, anyone, everyone. Consent? Optional. Most subjects never knew, never agreed, never had a choice. The project head? Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, a chemist, a scientist, a man who believed the ends justified any means, any suffering, any violation. He had one question: can we control the human mind? He would spend 20 years trying to answer it and destroy thousands of lives in the process. The LSD experiments. LSD, lysergic acid diethylamide, a powerful hallucinogen, discovered in 1938. The CIA became obsessed with it in the 1950s. Could it break enemy agents, make them confess, erase memories, create controllable assets? They needed to know. So they tested it on everyone, everywhere, without permission. Operation Midnight Climax. San Francisco and New York, 1950s to 1960s. The CIA set up brothels, safe houses, hired prostitutes to lure men inside, businessmen, criminals, random citizens, anyone. The prostitutes drugged their drinks, LSD, without knowledge, without consent. Then CIA agents watched through one-way mirrors, took notes, recorded reactions, studied the effects. The men had no idea, thought they were just with a prostitute. Instead, they were guinea pigs, test subjects in a government experiment. Some had bad trips, terrifying hallucinations, psychological breaks. Some never recovered, permanent mental damage from one drugged drink. Did the CIA help them? No, they were test subjects, disposable, irrelevant. The Frank Olson case, November 1953. Frank Olson worked for the CIA, Biological Weapons Division, a scientist, a colleague, trusted. November 19, 1953. Olson attends a work retreat. Dr. Gottlieb is there. After dinner, Gottlieb announces he spiked everyone's drinks with LSD, a surprise experiment, on his own colleagues. Olson has a bad reaction, severe. He becomes paranoid, depressed, suicidal, wants to quit the CIA, wants to expose the programs. The CIA is worried. He knows too much. What if he talks? What if he reveals the secrets? November 28, 1953. Olson is in New York, staying at a hotel with a CIA handler, Dr. Robert Lashbrook, for treatment of his condition. 2:30 a.m., Olson crashes through a 10th floor window, falls to his death. The CIA calls it suicide, depression from the LSD trip. But questions remain. No suicide note. Olson was recovering, planning to resign quietly. Why jump? The church committee investigates. They find evidence of foul play, possible murder. The CIA admits dosing him, admits covering it up, pays the family $750,000. Olson's body is exhumed, new autopsy, forensic analysis. Conclusions: injuries consistent with being struck on the head before falling, possible homicide. Did the CIA kill Frank Olson? Officially, unknown. Unofficially, probably. He knew too much, wanted out, became a liability. One scientist, drugged by his own colleagues, possibly murdered by his own agency, to protect secrets, to maintain silence.
The universities. The CIA funded experiments at universities: Harvard, Stanford, Cornell, McGill, others. Professors recruited. Students used as test subjects, often without knowledge. Harvard, Dr. Henry Murray, 1959 to 1962. 22 students participate in a study. They're told it's about personality, about stress responses, about debate skills. One student, Theodore Kaczynski, brilliant mathematician, 16 years old, youngest Harvard student in years. The study involves brutal psychological interrogation. Students write essays about their beliefs, their values, their dreams. Then they're strapped to chairs, electrodes attached, bright lights, cameras, and a lawyer tears apart everything they wrote, attacks their beliefs, mocks their values, destroys their self-worth. For hours, while their stress responses are measured, heart rate, blood pressure, reactions. This happens weekly for 3 years. Brutal psychological torture disguised as research. Years later, Kaczynski becomes the Unabomber, kills 3 people, injures 23 through mail bombs. Anti-technology manifesto. Did the Harvard experiments cause this? Impossible to know, but the timing is interesting. The trauma is real, the connection undeniable. Murray's research was funded by the CIA, part of MK Ultra, studying psychological breaking points, testing stress limits on unwitting students.
McGill University, Dr. Donald Ewan Cameron, 1950s to 1960s. Dr. Cameron believes he can erase memories, rewrite personalities, cure mental illness by destroying the existing mind and rebuilding it. The CIA funds him through a front organization. He doesn't know it's CIA money, or maybe he does. Either way, he experiments. His subjects, mental patients at McGill's Allen Memorial Institute, people seeking help for depression, anxiety, postpartum issues, minor problems. His methods: psychic driving. Step 1, drug-induced sleep. Patients kept unconscious for weeks, barbiturates, continuous IV drips. Some sleep for 65 days straight. Step 2, electroshock therapy. Massive doses, 30 to 40 times normal levels, multiple times per day, for weeks.
Step 3, sensory deprivation. Darkness, silence, isolation for days, weeks. Step 4, tape-recorded messages, played on repeat, 16 hours a day. Negative messages, you are a bad mother, you are worthless. Or positive messages, you are getting better, you are strong. The goal? Erase the existing personality, implant a new one. The results? Catastrophic. Patients lose all memories, can't recognize family, can't feed themselves, can't speak. Reduced to infant-like states, permanent brain damage. One patient, Linda McDonald, went in for postpartum depression, came out unable to recognize her husband, her children, couldn't remember her own name, had to relearn everything, walking, talking, reading. She sued, won. In 1988, the CIA admitted funding Cameron, paid settlements to victims, but the damage was done, irreversible. Dozens of patients destroyed by a doctor who thought he could rebuild minds, funded by a government seeking mind control. The prisoners. Federal prisoners were perfect test subjects, captive, powerless, disposable. Kentucky, Lexington Narcotics Hospital, 1950s, 1960s. The CIA funded Dr. Harris Isbell to test drugs on prisoners, drug addicts in treatment, vulnerable, desperate. Isbell offered them deals, participate in experiments, get better drugs, more privileges, early release possibilities. The experiments, massive doses of LSD for extended periods. One prisoner, 77 straight days of LSD, daily doses, no breaks, no recovery time. The effects, psychosis, permanent psychological damage. Some prisoners never recovered, spent the rest of their lives mentally broken. Was this legal? Technically, they consented, but consent under duress isn't real consent. Addicts desperate for drugs, prisoners desperate for freedom, they had no real choice. The torture. MKUltra wasn't just drugs, it was torture. Systematic, scientific, documented. Sensory deprivation. Subjects placed in isolation tanks, darkness, silence, floating in body temperature water for days, weeks, until their minds broke. Sleep deprivation, kept awake for days, using drugs, noise, electric shocks, until hallucinations began, until reality dissolved. Electroshock therapy, massive voltages, repeated sessions, memory erasure, personality destruction. Physical torture, beatings, sexual abuse, humiliation, anything to break them, anything to find the limits. The goal wasn't therapy, it was control, breaking human will, creating compliant subjects, perfect agents who would do anything, remember nothing, question nothing. Did it work? Mostly, no. The human mind is resilient. Most subjects broke, but not controllably. They just broke, became dysfunctional, useless, damaged. But the CIA kept trying. 20 years of experiments, thousands of subjects, hundreds of techniques, unlimited budget, no oversight. 1973, the destruction. Richard Helms becomes CIA director. He knows MKUltra is indefensible, illegal, immoral, dangerous. If it's exposed, the CIA is finished. Congressional investigations, public outrage, criminal prosecutions. So he makes a decision: destroy
everything. He orders Sidney Gottlieb to destroy all MKUltra records, files, documents, evidence, everything. Gottlieb complies enthusiastically. Thousands of documents shredded, burned, erased, the entire project wiped clean. Almost. 1975. The Church Committee. Watergate scandal rocks America. Trust in government collapses. Congress investigates intelligence agencies looking for abuse, for crimes, for violations. They find MKUltra, or what's left of it. 20,000 documents survived, financial records mostly, stored in a different filing system, missed by Gottlieb's purge. The Church Committee investigates, Senator Frank Church leading. They uncover the truth, the experiments, the drugs, the torture, the deaths. The American public is horrified. Their own government experimenting on citizens without consent, without oversight, without limits. CIA Director William Colby testifies, admits the program existed, admits the abuses, apologizes. But the damage is done to thousands of victims, to American trust in government, to the concept of consent, of rights, of protection.
1977, the FOIA documents. More documents surface through Freedom of Information Act requests. 8,000 pages, more details, more victims, more horrors. Senate hearings, more testimony, more admissions, more apologies. But the full truth? Unknown. Most records destroyed, most victims never identified, most experiments never documented. What we know is terrible. What we don't know, probably worse. The victims speak. Some victims come forward, testify, share their stories. Linda McDonald, the woman destroyed by Dr. Cameron, lost her entire identity, her memories, herself, for postpartum depression. Velma Orlikoff, another Cameron victim, went in for depression, came out unable to function, lost years of memories, permanent damage. Hundreds more, most unnamed, most too damaged to testify. Some dead, some institutionalized, some just broken. The CIA pays settlements, millions of dollars, to some victims, not all. Many never identified, many never compensated. Justice incomplete, accountability insufficient. The legacy. MKUltra officially ended in 1973, but did it really end, or just go deeper underground? The techniques developed, the knowledge gained, the lack of accountability, it all continues, in different forms, different names, different justifications. Enhanced interrogation, extraordinary rendition, black sites, Guantanamo. Different words, same principles. Breaking minds, extracting information, controlling subjects. The lessons of MKUltra. Governments will abuse power if unchecked. Scientists will commit atrocities if allowed. Secrecy enables evil. Oversight matters. Consent matters. Rights matter. But have we learned? Have we changed? Or just gotten better at hiding it? The questions that remain. How many victims total? Unknown. Thousands, maybe tens of thousands. Records destroyed. How many died? Unknown. Frank Olson, others. How many suicides? How many accidents? How many murders disguised as natural deaths? How many children were tested? Yes, children. Documents mention experiments on children, orphans, runaways. Who would miss them? How many? What happened to them? Did it work?
Did any technique successfully create a Manchurian candidate, a controllable agent? Officially, no. Unofficially, classified. Is it still happening, under different names, different programs, with better oversight, or just better secrecy? We don't know, can't know. The records are gone, the perpetrators dead, the victims silenced.
The truth. MK Ultra happened. This is not theory, not speculation, not paranoia. This is documented, admitted, proven. Your government drugged its own citizens, tortured them, experimented on them, without consent, without mercy, without accountability. For 20 years, thousands of victims, millions of dollars, countless crimes. And when caught, destroyed the evidence, paid some settlements, apologized, moved on. No one went to jail. No one was prosecuted. No one faced real consequences. Dr. Gottlieb retired comfortably, died in 1999, age 80, never charged, never punished. Dr. Cameron died in 1967, before exposure, before accountability, honored in his lifetime, disgraced after death. The CIA continued, grew, expanded, with minimal reform, with renewed secrecy, with ongoing power. The victims, most forgotten, most uncompensated, most still suffering or dead. This is the truth of MK Ultra, not a conspiracy theory, not a myth, not an exaggeration. This actually happened in America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, where government experimented on its own people, like Nazi Germany, like Soviet Russia, like every authoritarian regime we claim to oppose. Because power corrupts, secrecy enables, and without oversight, without accountability, without consequences, it happens again. Sleep peacefully? Can you, after knowing this? After understanding what your government did? What it might still do? Close your eyes. But remember, Frank Olson closed his eyes, never woke up. Drugged by his colleagues, possibly murdered by his agency. Linda McDonald closed her eyes for treatment, woke up without her identity, without her memories, without herself. Thousands of unnamed victims closed their eyes trusting doctors, trusting scientists, trusting government, and were betrayed, violated, destroyed. But you're different. You know now. You're aware. You can't unknow this, can't unhear this, can't forget this. MK Ultra happened. The CIA admitted it. The documents prove it. The victims testified to it. This is real. This is history. This is truth. And the most disturbing part? This is just what we know. Just what survived the purge. Just what was declassified. What else happened? What else is hidden? What else continues? We don't know. May never know. Can only guess and fear. Breathe slowly, deeply. Rest. You are safe for now. In your home, in your bed. No CIA agents drugging you. No doctors experimenting on you. No government violating you. For now. But remember MK Ultra. Remember Frank Olson. Remember Linda McDonald. Remember the thousands of unnamed victims. Remember that governments can go wrong, that power can corrupt, that for your own good can mean for our interests, that trust us can mean we're lying. Remember, question, verify, demand accountability, protect rights, fight secrecy. Because MK Ultra happened once, it could happen again. in different forms, different names, different justifications. Unless we remember, unless we learn, unless we refuse. Good night. Sleep if you can, but never forget. Your government admitted it. They experimented on you, on your neighbors, on Americans, without consent, without mercy, without real consequences. This is not theory. This is fact. MK Ultra was real.